Assalamu alaikum and a very pleasant morning, girls. Hope you people are doing well. Today we are going to see our syllabus. Okay, your syllabus is divided into 6 units. Okay, first unit is prose, and in that you have 4 things. That is My Greatest Olympic Prize by Jesse Owens, and the second one is The Tree Speaks, C. Rajagopalacharya, A Snake in the Grass, written by R.K. Narayan, and the fourth one is Futurology, written by Aldous Huxley. Okay, and in your second unit you have poetry. Your first poetry is River Once by R. Parthasarathi. Second, Ode to Nightingale by John Keats. Third one, O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. And fourth poetry you have Paper Boats by Rabindranath Tagore. Is that clear, ma? And third unit you have short stories. Okay, short story. In that you have 2 short stories. That is, first one is A Day's Wait by Ernest Hemingway, and second one is Little Girls Wiser Than Man by Leo Tolstoy. Little Girls Wiser Than Man by Leo Tolstoy. This 2 is a short story. Okay, and your fourth unit you have 1 act play. Okay, small play, The Bishop's Candlestick by Norman Macdonald. And in your unit 5 you have grammar and composition, that is lexical skill, grammar and composition. And in the unit 6 you have communication skill, in that conversational English. Is that clear, ma? Okay. Here I'll share with you a gist of your syllabus. Okay, by this you will have some idea about everything. Okay, in the first prose, My Greatest Olympic Prize, in that what you have is the prose. My Greatest Olympic Prize is the heart-touching experience of a Olympic gold medalist Jesse Owens. Okay, Adolf Hitler believed in Aryan superiority theory. He thought that his German athletes would perform better than other participants in the year 1936 Olympics, Berlin. The African American athlete Jesse Owens took 6 years of painful practice purposefully to break the theory of Hitler. When this piece was originally published in October 1960, he was an extremely active member of the Illinois Youth Commission, which sponsors local committees dedicated to keeping youngsters active in sports and out of mischief. Liz Long, a German athlete about whom he writes here, was killed in Sicily during World War II. Here, this prose is about Jesse Owens, who has won the Olympic prize, which is a great honor for him, because he want to break the Adolf Hitler's belief. Okay, even though as a African American athlete, Jesse Owens won the greatest Olympic prize. Is that clear, ma? Now you have some idea about that particular prose. Is that clear? Okay. The next prose is about The Trees Speaks by C. Rajagopal Acharya. That is, in this prose, the author speaks about the laws of the best practices of our culture that we cherished in Easter years. The cutting down of a tree upsets the biological cycle, as we all know. The author, even in those days, we concerned about the likely ecological imbalance caused by man's indiscriminate cutting down of trees. He also points out that trees and all the other creatures in nature have a life of their own. Here, in this prose, Rajagopalacharya says that because of the cutting down of the tree, we are destroying nature, that is deforestation, and we are forgetting about the culture. Okay, and in that prose, he says that trees and every creature in this world have their own life. Okay, so that here in this prose he says about that about the incident about the cutting of a tree, and he says that the tree also speaks. Okay, is it clear, ma? Okay, then your third prose, A Snake in the Grass by R.K. Narayan. A Snake in the Grass. Here in this prose, it is about depicts a family with a crisis, a problem. They are terrified by a king cobra that enters their yard and hides itself. In India, snakes are dreaded as well as worshipped. R.K. Narayan blends the Indian sentiments for snakes with his characteristic humor. Okay, here in this, he says about one family who is having some problem, that is crisis going on in between them. But at that time, what happens? One snake, that is a king cobra, comes and hides in the yard in the grass. Because of that, the family members are very scared, and here he says about the style of his writing, how he has characterized the humor and sentiments, Indian sentiments, that is they are worshipping the snake as well as they are scared, they are dread, it is a dreaded one, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, is that clear, ma? Okay, then fourth process, Futurology by Aldous Huxley. Here in this prose, you have, that is, this prose section has been extracted from Aldous Huxley's dystopian novel Brave New World, Chapter 1. The plot takes place in a central London hatchery and conditioning center. The director takes a group of students, future human engineers, to the fertilizing room and gives an in-depth explanation of Buchanan's process. Here, this particular process, this chapter is taken from the unpleasant novel Brave New World. Okay, and in this, the future engineer has taken somewhere in the place where they learn about the process. Is that clear? Okay, while we are going with the particular essays, we will come to know what are all in details. Okay, no need to worry, girls. Here I am just giving you a small introduction about the things. Okay, is that clear, ma? Okay, then we have, that is second unit, poetry. Poetry, you know, girls. Okay, in that also you have 4 subtopics. Okay, there is first one is River Vans by R. Parthasarathi. Okay, here in this poem, the poet, River Once is a powerful poem which indicates that it was a river once and it is no longer a river due to man's indifference to the beauty of nature. The poet expresses his sense of shock at the degradation of the river Vaigai, which flows through the city of Madurai. The poet seems to convey the idea that nature has made everything beautiful, but man has rendered it ugly because he has lost the sense of wonder and beauty. In this poem, that is River Vans, R. Parthasarathi says about the poem is, once there was a river which is flowing, but not now. Okay, and now there is no longer a river due to man's indifference of the beauty of nature. Okay, here the poet expresses his shock, okay, because the river Vaigai has no more. Is it clear? It has turned, the beauty has turned to ugly. Is it clear? Okay, he has lost the sense of wonder and beauty. Is it clear, ma? Okay, then the second poem we have Ode to Nightingale by John Keats. Have you come across these poets, ma? Okay, fine. Here, Ode to Nightingale. Nightingale is one of the most famous great odes of John Keats. Ode is a long praise poem. Okay, ode is called as a long poem. Nightingale, you people know well. Okay, the ode is a traditional Greek form that usually celebrates the person or object to which it is dedicated. In this poem, Keats celebrates the nightingale, a bird, okay, with a particularly magical voice through which the poet wishes to flee from the pressures of the world. He wrote the poem in 1819 while visiting his friend Charles Brown, who later wrote about the morning of its composition. Ode is written to celebrate something, celebrates the person or the subject or the object. Okay, here that is Ode to Nightingale. Here John Keats celebrates to the bird nightingale. Okay, bird's magical voice. Is that clear, ma? When he has written this poem means in the year 1890 when he visited his friend Charles Brown. Is that clear, ma? Any doubts you have? Then we have our third poetry, O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. Here in this poem, it is an extended metaphorical poem, that is comparing poem, written in 1865 about the death of American President Abraham Lincoln. The poem emphasizes on the grief and sorrow. The poem is classified as an elegy. Elegy, it is written for, that is, it is about something to someone's death. Okay, that is showing showing that is a mournful song or lamenting upon someone. Is it clear? The fallen captain in the poem refers to Abraham Lincoln, captain of the ship, that is the United States of America. There is a distinct rhyme scheme which is unusual for Whitman. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A B C D E F E G G H I J E K E and M N O for each stanza respectively. The refrain, "O Captain, my Captain," and "Fallen cold and dead" accentuate the poignancy of the loss and pain experienced by America. This is a tribute to Abraham Lincoln. It is an elegy, that is a mournful song, very grief poem. They are lamenting on the death of their president, American President Abraham Lincoln, and Walt Whitman is calling "O Captain, my Captain" to Abraham Lincoln. Okay, it is a very great loss for them. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Then the fourth poem is Paperboat by Rabindranath Tagore. Here in this poem, the Paperboat is a beautiful poem from Tagore's collection of poems. The Crescent Moon. The poem is based on a childhood experience. Like Wordsworth and Walter de la Mare, Tagore also found in children a mystic equality. The poem narrates the child's experience of floating paper boats down the stream. The child imagines that some other child tries to compete with his boat by sending clouds down the air in the sky. The poem shows the child's peculiar psychology. Okay, here in this poem, Tagore, it is a collection poem. In that, the one poem is about paper boat. We have done this thing. Okay, in our childhood, what we do when it is raining, we used to make paper boats and we used to flow. Yes or no? Yes, like that. Here he is telling about the memory. That is the childish thing. That is, they are floating a paper boat, and they think that the other child is competing him by sending the clouds. Okay, by raining. Is it clear? Okay. Then the third unit. In this unit, we have short stories. There is 2 short stories we have. A Day's Wait by Ernest Hemingway and Little Girls Wiser Than Man. Here, this story, A Day's Wait, tells the story of a small boy who lay in bed waiting for death as a result of a simple misunderstanding. That is Ernest Hemingway. Here he is mentioning a boy one day who is waiting. That is, in this story, a small boy who is lying in the bed and waiting for his death to come because of a misunderstanding. As a result of a misunderstanding, he misunderstands. Okay, Is that clear, ma? Okay. Then the second short story is, while reading you will come to know what's that misunderstanding. Okay. Now I will not say because that excitement will go. Okay. Then the second short story is Little Girls Wiser Than Man by Leo Tolstoy. Here in this short story, the short story is about a small quarrel between two little girls, Malasha and Akolia, on a rainy day. The quarrel leads to arguments and debates among the elders in the families. But what does the elders learn from the little girls in the climax of the story? That is, here also, this story is about a small quarrel, small fighting between two friends, that is two little girls, that is Malasha and Akolia, and it goes and it exaggerated as a that leads to argument and debate of the two elder that is it is not in between the girls, and it reached to the elders and it reached to the two different families. Okay, and at last they learn from the girl. Okay, the climax of the story I'll tell you later. Is it clear? Okay, then we have fourth unit in that that is one act play. I think you have read this, the Bishop's Candlestick, in your +2. Okay, fine. The Bishop's Candlestick by Norman Macdonald. The Bishop's Candlesticks is an adaptation of a section of Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. The bishop is generous to all and shows love and compassion towards those who are poor. Here in this play, the bishop is very kind-hearted person. He is very generous and shows love and compassion towards those who are very poor. Okay. He feels that by rendering service to the poor, he is rendering service to God. What he thinks is that the bishop is thinking, if I help the poor, as I am helping the God. If I serving the poor people, I am serving the God. Like that he thinks. Okay. He even goes to the extent of selling away all his personal possessions to see smiles in the face of the poor. And that is, he goes to that extent that what he does, even he sells his own belongings to help the poor, to see the smiles in other people's face. Okay, but he is rebuked by his sister Person for his unending charity. When a thief enters his house, the bishop gets an opportunity to serve God. But he rebuked, that is, his sister doesn't like that thing, because that comfortable things which belongs to the home, that also he is selling. Okay, which is not good. Yes or no? If he sells everything, where they will go? Yes or no? Like that the sister thinks. But even though and one moment what happened, a thief comes to his house and he gets an opportunity to serve God. Is it clear how he serves God? We will see later. Is it clear, ma? Okay, then we have that is your fifth unit, grammar and composition part. In that we have first one is lexical skill. In that you have spelling, rules of spelling, that is noun, pronoun, past tense, relating, comparing, adjective, everything comes. And in the second thing, grammar part, you have vocabulary, that is antonyms and the synonyms. Okay, then you have composition. In that composition you have reading skill, in that you have listening, writing and speaking skill. Is it clear? Okay, in communication skill, that is your last unit, you have conversational English. Conversational English, that is the conversations like greetings, introducing, seeking permission, everything comes under this. That is the conversational English. Is that clear, ma? Okay, I hope so. You have understood about the syllabus. Okay, if you have any doubts, please ask me. Sure, I'll clarify your doubts. Okay, girls, by this I'll end up. Thank you. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.